Yeah.
I just haven't. Like they usually
Yeah, they've been busy.
but I want to get out and I can talk to both of them and say. I think we're ready to go, Don.
The cave is a bar where you can watch sports and do gaming and stuff like that. I haven't been there yet, but yeah. I don't know exactly, I haven't been in Event Central in a while, but I think Roburger is going where Finney's was. Oh, sorry. Imagine that, the Marine was distracted.
I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody, please turn their cell phones to mute. Have a roll call, please.
Wanda? Here. Ryan?
Here.
John?
Here.
Dan?
Here.
Don?
Here. And we have the agenda before you. Is there any reason for anybody to abstain for financial conflict of interest?
No.
I have none.
Non-financial conflicts of interest?
No.
No.
I will be abstaining from claims number 2 as it relates to my office.
And I have no reason. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, can we add the online permitting software? I know we had it on the last agenda and we were gonna make a decision this evening. So wherever you see fit.
Is that something that really needs to be voted on, notified before we vote on it?
And I think you can talk about it, but you can't make a decision on it without being on the agenda the 24 hours.
Okay, I guess we'll just leave it. You know, the only issue was.
Dan, if you're okay with it, I was going to bring that up in my commissioner updates.
Okay, okay. The only issue I had is that if we don't get it within time, then we gotta spend that $7,000 and trying to save taxpayer money, but can't put it on, can't put it on. But I guess next meeting, does that sound good? All right.
I move to approve the current agenda.
Second?
Second.
John's second. Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed the same, motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to recognize, where'd he go? County Commissioner from Clay County, Jeff Graylobe. He's gonna be here. Just thank you for attending, so. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment is time for persons to address this body on any subject. No action may be taken on a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda as an item upon which action will be taken. Each person has up to 3 minutes to speak. There shall be no personal attacks against the members of this body, county staff, individual, or organizations. The chair has the authority to enforce this policy. Failure to adhere to these policies may result in forfeiture of the remaining speaking time. Does anybody want to make a public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the county health insurance renewal. Julie.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening. Prior to the meeting, I gave you just a simple little worksheet to help decide, maybe what the county wanted to contribute for the employees' health insurance. So I guess I'm ready for any questions or concerns. Besides the price, I can't control that, but any concerns? Sorry.
Understand.
Yeah.
I do have one question,
Yes,
and according to this sheet that you presented to us 2
Yes.
weeks ago,
yes,
I'm looking at the Avera cost coming in at 343,000.
yeah. That
To-
is for,
to-
that's for that specific plan,
I understand
Commissioner
that.
John.
I understand that.
okay?
But at the same token, the current program that we're under is 386,000 for the same,
For renewal, for 2024.
that's correct.
Yes.
Okay. And that's a 29% increase from last year.
A 29% increase over last year's price.
Over last year's
Well,
price.
a 29% overall, the plans that Medica offered to the county. So not
Correct.
not specific to that plan, but a 29% increase
But
overall.
all the plans that we have presently in force with Medica, we're looking at a 29% increase on overall over all the plans.
Is that a yes?
Yes, sorry, yes.
So my question is, do we have an opportunity to look at Avera for the coming year?
Certainly.
If on this one program, this one plan, we're gonna save $50,000.
Oh, absolutely. You can look at Avera, certainly.
Okay,
Do we know how it compares with Medica?
Yes, well, it cuts basically you can only use Avera facilities. Medica, you have an open network. And that, we've ran into this problem before with Avera.
so Avera insurance plans are good in anywhere there's an Avera facility in the surrounding region area.
Specifically South Dakota, correct. Mhm.
But not, for example, in Omaha, where
You
Medica will
cannot,
cover.
no.
Okay.
And you have to get approval to use Mayo Clinic in Rochester.
Pre-approval.
Pre-approval, correct.
Okay.
Where Medica, you do not.
You do not, or Blue Cross Blue Shield, correct.
And I'm looking at this also as a variation from Blue Cross Blue Shield to Medica of a reduction of $5,500 in that vicinity. Blue Cross is over Medica by $5,500, but at the same token, Blue Cross Blue Shield is basically the same as what Medica is, as far as
The,
usage and
the network is very, very comparable to Blue Cross Blue Shield. The big difference would come with the Blue Cross Blue Shield versus Medica in some different facilities' discounts. So some places Blue Cross Blue Shield's discount is better, and other places Medica's discount is bigger, so. Whereas if you were to go to any facility outside of the Avera network, you would have to pay out-of-pocket expenses, which are double compared to Blue Cross Blue Shield or Medica if you were to use an Avera plan.
but at the same token, the out-of-pocket or the deductible still comes into play.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So then a person with a lesser amount of out-of-pocket claims would be at a disadvantage percentage-wise? I'm maybe not very clear on that.
Oh, no, I don't understand what you're asking.
Say what you just said to John. Say that once again, please.
So, for instance, a Blue Cross Blue Shield or Medica plan, you would be able to use, Blue Cross Blue Shield is 99% of all the hospitals. There's one hospital in Rapid City that does not accept Blue Cross Blue Shield. And they may have even accepted them in 2024. Medica mirrors that network very closely. Where Avera, it is Avera facilities.
Okay.
So, right. It cuts your network in half. And you cannot, per se, use Rochester, Mayo, if you need to use a facility or you need to see a doctor outside of the state of South Dakota, it requires pre-approval where I haven't, where in certain cases, Avera approves that, office visit. But in some cases, in most cases, they do not. Whereas Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medica, you can just go. You don't have to wait for pre-approval. Does that make sense?
Certainly.
Does Avera plan offer, what was it, that free gym membership? I know when we chose this a couple years ago, it had that.
No,
Don't-
not
that-
any
Not
longer.
anymore?
No.
Okay.
This one plan, at this point in time, is basically saving us $50,000 by going to Avera.
Well, only if all the employees take that
I
plan.
understand that, I
Yeah.
understand that.
Well, I guess it doesn't
So-
matter because
so-
you
so-
spend the same amount of money on everyone. It doesn't matter what plan they choose. That's why I gave you this sheet right here. Because this one here, if you take a look, I think it'll be a lot less confusing if you kind of take a look at what this is. The current Medica plan, $784.15, is for the copay plan. You do offer 3. But the participation in the $4,500 HSA is so small, I did not include that just to simplify things. We can certainly reintroduce it. But currently, Yankton County pays 100% of the $6,350 HSA plan. So you're giving the employees $725 towards any plan they choose. If they choose to insure themselves or their family, they receive $725 towards the plan. I think that, first you need to choose what company you want to use and which plans you want to use, but then the bigger question is how much more does the county want to spend towards that health insurance? The employees, if they did not take the $6,350 high deductible health plan, they were having to pay money out of their pocket. So you're absolutely right. You can choose an Avera health plan across, the $6,300 plan. And then I would recommend that you choose a PPO plan, a plan with a copay. But the Avera HSA plan is just simply, they have to hit the $6,500 before the plan pays anything. Whereas you have the $6,500 copay plan, a lot of your employees like that copay because they don't necessarily have major medical experiences. They only have to see the doctor. And they have prescription drugs. Prescription drugs are a big expense and a big factor here in Yankton County with the employees. So that's why a lot of them choose the copay plan because it does have prescription drug coverage.
And Avera does not.
Avera does. It does. It does.
But they don't get anything until they hit the 63.
No, there is a plan here offered by Avera also that has prescription drug coverage. So, basically, you have those options. The Avera cost savings is significant. It is. It's just if that's a plan that you want to offer your employees. Like I said, we've tried it before, and there was quite a few employees that were not very happy. As a matter of fact, several were not very happy with the coverage. So. And we changed in the middle of the year because there were so many people not happy, so.
So we have to make, am I correct in understanding that we have to make this decision tonight? Which plan we're gonna go with and what we're gonna pay? And why did we only have 2 weeks' notice on what we have to choose from?
Well, you could have more time. I mean, I would need to know, the paperwork has to be signed by December 15th.
As our agent, don't you think you should bring that to us sooner than just 2 weeks ahead of time?
The
Or
quote comes
is
to
it
me.
up to us?
You have 45 days prior to the renewal date, which would actually be November 15th. I did give it to you a little earlier than November 15th.
Okay. I guess I got to see this 2 weeks ago, not 45 days ago.
You have 45 days from your renewal, which is January 1.
So we have 2 more meetings coming up before we have to make our decision.
The paperwork has to be signed by December 15th for a January 1 start date. I don't make these rules. These are the rules.
I understand. I'm not saying anything here is your fault. I'm just saying that
He wants more time, is what he's saying.
I would like one more week, or
He
2 more
he
weeks to
wants the
decide.
first, at least the first week in
sounds-
December.
sounds like we
That
can-
date isn't set by me. That was just decided
I
at the last
understand that's
commission
not
meeting.
your, I understand that that's not your
All he's
date.
saying is he doesn't want to make a decision tonight.
Correct. I think we need another 2 weeks to make a decision on, and study this a little bit more than what, and probably need more information than just this one plan that we're looking at saving $50,000. If a different plan through Avera is gonna cost us more money, then we should know that and have an opportunity to look at that.
I will give you any information you want.
I
I try to make,
appreciate that.
I mean, if I would have known what you want, I will gladly, but this can be done 100 different ways. So I try to make things as simple as possible.
And I
So-
appreciate that.
So
So-
if you want to, I will give you anything you want to see, and I will allow you as much time as you need. And you can even have until December 5th, after December 15th, but I can guarantee you won't have a plan, because it has to be done by December 15th.
I think we can make our decision within the next 2 weeks.
Well, it sounds like we have to make it next meeting.
Either way.
Yeah,
fine with
so
that.
it has to be made at next meeting.
So why don't we put it on the agenda then for the next meeting, so we know it's there?
Well, I think to be fair, we probably need to give you an idea of what we're gonna study or what we're gonna look at or what our considerations are gonna be.
I would really
Set
need
it.
that, because I do believe your next meeting is December 5th, and I am at the budget address in Pure, so I will not be here. So you can
So-
make the decision without me. I mean, that is fine. I have no problem with that. And I will address any question you have, like I always have, prior to the meeting. So if you have any question, or if you want to meet with me individually, which I have in the past, which I think would be a really, really good idea, then let's do that. Let's do that, so that you can ask me any question that you have and get it clear in your head, because this is a significant increase, like we had the last time that we had this many expenditures. So it wasn't, this certainly, I don't decide the price. The price is the price, and you can shop all you want, the price isn't gonna change. So, that's just the way it is. But I do agree, I think you do need a little more time, but we probably need to have that decision made so that I can get to work on it, whatever it is, because I will not be here for the next meeting.
And I'm not suggesting that we're gonna shop anything. All I would like to see is we already have plans that you've sold us previously. So this sheet right here, like you said, only adjusts or shows us one plan that is available to our employees.
It's two
That-
plans, actually. There's
And
two
we're
plans
saving-
on that.
We're saving $50,000.
There's two plans on that from
On this
both Avera, Blue Cross Blue Shield,
Yes.
and Medica.
Yes.
Yeah,
So if we can get that number for each plan that is offered to our employees, so we have a bottom line that we know what we're gonna pay for the next year.
okay.
If everything stays standard, if the employees all choose the same plan that they're on now, so that we have something to compare between the three companies.
Just to clear things up, you are at the top of you're at the biggest plan, the lowest, highest deductible with Blue Cross Blue Shield. You are where you're at. That's as low as I can go.
Understand?
So now with Medica, the only plans they'll offer you are the three you currently have. That's the only plans they'll offer you. So then if you want to see something different with Avera, I will gladly show it to you. And they have, there is numerous plans. So just kind of give me specifically what you're looking for, and I will gladly show it to you.
I just wanna compare apples to apples between all three companies.
Those are apples to apples. Those plans
That's
are
good.
all identical.
That's gonna be almost
That's what
impossible.
They're
These-
identical.
That's what
That's
these
what these are.
Yeah.
You
They
said
are-
there's 2 of 3 on this sheet right
There
here.
are two plans on that sheet. If
But
you read the
we're
top,
offering 3 right now.
you're offering 3, and I brought it down to 2 because there's hardly anyone on the third one, to
Okay,
simplify.
so we're only gonna offer these 2 plans.
That is your decision, but I think the most important thing is to choose the company first And then we can
Choose the
specifically
plan.
get the plans in place.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
I would like to not make a decision until the December 5th meeting.
Dan,
Yeah, I gotta agree with John. If he needs more, I think that's
you said
smart
you
looking
can't be
into
here.
it.
I will not be here on December 5th, but I will gladly give you any information that you need, any, any guidance.
Mr. Chair, if push comes to shove on that, we could always schedule a special meeting or something where we even all call in and make a decision. I know it's not ideal, but
Well, that depends on when Ms. Auk is
Well-
available.
Well, I am available
she's just not
December
available
5th
on the
for a
5th.
few minutes, in the evening, but I will physically not be able to get
Yeah.
here from Pier.
so we could call
I'm
you.
assuming that if we make a decision on December 5th, we can contact you,
Absolutely.
Patty can contact you, and you can bind these policies. Other than having the paperwork done by, and it's our responsibility to make sure the paperwork is done for each employee.
Oh, well, that's my responsibility.
Yeah.
That's
not our
You
job.
decide what plan you want.
I
I
understand
prepare
that. I
everything for
understand that.
Patty. Yeah.
I understand that. You have to have people here to make sure that all the paperwork is filled out by each employee. But I'm assuming that from December 5th, December 6th until January 1, you and your people should be able to make that happen.
Oh, we've made it happen quicker than that before. Oh,
It
yeah.
has to be done by payroll, John, because we have to pay for it in December's payroll.
Okay. Is December 5th going to be a problem for you to make this happen?
Oh,
then is the
absolutely
question.
not.
Okay.
I mean, absolutely not. We've done it in 2 days before. Please don't do that to Patty
Yeah,
or
and
Karen.
Put the strain on our office.
But, you
I'll
know,
come in and help if needed.
but, it isn't a matter of fact whether I can get it done, because I can get it done. It's whether or not.
Yeah, we got a lot of
I'm trying to
employees.
make things as easy as I possibly can on the county administration, so, yes. So
Okay.
you make a decision, call me with any questions that you have, and I will gladly give you whatever information you're looking for. And, but you do have 2 plans comparatively on here. And then this, just to clarify, this is last year's plans. And if you eliminate the HSA 4,500, now you don't have to, but if you just then you'll be clearly looking at the 2 plans that are on this sheet to compare, okay?
Okay.
All right. And then this here chart, this shows if the county decides to contribute, like they have for the past several years, the lowest premium plan, the difference that it would make for the employees in their paychecks.
With
Yes?
your experience in your portfolio or with your fellow agents, looking at Avera versus Blue Cross Blue Shield, who provides the best service to the client?
Are you taking Medica out of the mix?
No, Medica.
Well, I'm going to tell you, they're all very comparable. Their customer service, the network is where we get into a little bit of an issue with, especially with the Yankton County employees. They really, I don't want to use the word, they've gotten very comfortable with an open network. And they feel very, very confident in being able to use whatever facility they choose versus being limited to only the Avera network.
Wanda,
Yes?
what's your,
My preference is to discuss it, think about it, as Commissioner Marquardt said, and then we can make a decision. Right now, although I think that Avera has the lesser premium price, I think Medica has the more coverage. And I don't know about the rest of you all, but when we switched the last time to Avera, It was horrible. I had people calling and calling and calling because they don't take they don't take any doctors in Omaha, in Lincoln, Council Bluffs, Mayo. And we do apparently have employees that have those issues.
I will say, even if I may, Commissioner John, I will say that I even called Patty and Karen and said, I haven't gotten one complaint about Medica, because Medica is brand new to the county. Not one complaint, and that's far exceeds.
It's unheard of.
Unheard of. I kept calling every month. I'm like, I haven't had one, because they call me. If they're not happy, they call me, and not one. I couldn't even find one. I couldn't find a complaint. I asked. I couldn't find. So the employees really do like Medica, and the coverage has been obviously very well utilized because your employees are using the coverage.
Just to be clear, I'm not pushing Avera, I'm not pushing Blue Cross Blue Shield, I'm not pushing Medica.
No, John.
You just
I
want,
just want-
you just
I
want
wanna
more
be comfortable.
time.
Yeah,
I
you
wanna
want
be
more time,
comfortable.
That's fine.
and these prices are upsetting. They give me a stomach ache. I get it. Oh no, I totally understand, and it's not like we haven't faced this giant before, but it is definitely something. I just want you to understand, if you have any, without giving you, I have a binder this thick, without giving you all of that,
understand.
I try to make it as simple as possible. If there's something that you want to see, I will gladly send it to you.
So I have one question. Whoever
Yes.
the clerk is.
Only
All right,
one?
so just one, yeah. So you had the 3 plans, but the 2 plans that you have here, the 5,500 copay and the HSA plan, which one is preferred by the employees so far? Which one's used
I
more?
will give you those exact numbers. The $5,500 copay plan has a total of, including one family, 40 employees. The $6,300 HSA plan, including one family, has 24. And the $4,500 HSA plan, including one family, has 11. And I will add, for the first time in 5 years, we have family coverage. People normally do not cover their families on this plan. So that, to me, and also, in this arena, in this health insurance arena, the prices are just getting astronomical. I won't disagree. And you're not the only client I have that took this kind of an increase. You are the only client I have that took this kind of an increase on Medica, because you are my only group that has Medica. So they really wanted your business, and now they're, unfortunately, raised your premium. But I have had other companies give a 29% increase this year. This isn't the only one, so.
Okay, so, to move things along.
Yes.
I think, to give Julie, a fair chance of answering the questions due to her conflict on the 5th, we should, forward to her, the questions that we have, concerning the different options, and do that by the end of the month.
Certainly.
It gives you
Yes.
5 days to
Oh,
do the response.
Plenty of time.
call me if you don't have my cell phone number, you can call me on my cell. You can call me anytime. I can pull this up wherever I'm at, and if I cannot get you the answer immediately, I will get you the answer as quickly as I can. Okay?
So I just would like to have us route the questions through the auditor's office.
Sounds good. And Mr. Chair, I'd also encourage your employees to reach out and let us know their thoughts as well.
Good point.
All right. Are we good?
Thank you for your time.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Are we good?
We're done. Brian Huff.
Sure, I'd be happy to. All the same?
The next item on the agenda is historic photo display at the Government Center by Brian Hunoff and Doug Saul. The item number 7 on the agenda is a Government Center picture. Miss Higgins contacted me maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago about the possibility of doing that, but I don't see that there's a difference in what's
This is,
going to be accomplished.
this was her photo, correct? Right here.
Yeah, that would be part of what we want to do, her photo.
This is number 1 in your list, correct?
That's number 1. Yeah, that's, she's talked to Doug and I also, and we're not in, the only difference between what she's proposing and what we're proposing is we're proposing maybe doing some other pictures as well as the post office. Certainly think the post office belongs up there.
Sure.
As long as she's in there, she's okay?
But we understand it. That's, her main focus was her building.
Yep.
But,
Well, Mrs. Higgins indicated to me at 5 o'clock tonight she couldn't make it tonight, so I presented that discussion.
well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. As Doug and I mentioned at the last meeting, that display out in the hallway was created 20 years ago by Doug, not long after we moved into this building. There's 10 photos out there. Doug took on the task of upsizing the pictures. You know, he took the originals and he had them made larger and framed them. And by him doing all that, it obviously considerably lowered the cost of creating a display like that. And the 10 pictures we have out there right now, and they continue to draw a lot of interest from people entering the building. It includes photos of the Meridian Bridge, the old courthouse, Gurney's Pancake Days, the Gurney's Gas Station, Odessa Rural School in rural Esterville, some pictures of 3rd Street, the old pontoon bridge, and a couple others. But there's still a lot of empty brick space out in those hallways that would be ideal for hanging some additional pictures. And I handed out a list of some ideas that Doug and I came up with. We talked the other day. The old post office. I think it'd be nice to have some rural scenes. So the thing I was thinking of would be like a homestead scene from maybe the late 1800s. Maybe some pictures of a threshing crew working in the field or somebody plowing with the horses or something like that. But back to the buildings, the Mead Building, the Masonic Temple. Old Middle is the Conservatory of Music building on the YC, on the now Federal Prison Camp campus. It's the oldest, it was the first building built as part of Yankton College, and it's still a beautiful building. Dakota Theater, Territorial Capitol, the original one, I mean. Carnegie Library, GAR Hall. Now, Gavin's Point Dam and Marty Chapel are not as old as the others on this list, but they're pretty significant to the community, I think. Then there's the telephone building on Walnut across from the post office. And then a few other possible pictures. The railroad depot at 800 Douglas, which is kitty corner from Wanda's office. And then possibly there's a really neat picture of President Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, addressing a group of Yankton people at the corner of 3rd and Walnut Street. That's, to me, that's one of the most significant pictures in our community's history. He came here a few years earlier as a vice presidential candidate, 1900, but he came back in 1903 when he was president and addressed the community. And then maybe a picture of Lawrence Welk's band from the WNAX studio. But I did talk to a few people. I talked to the auditor. I said, if we get the commission's approval to do this, would we take this out of the general fund or the building fund? And Patty indicated the building fund, which I think normally has about 90,000. We're talking about a drop in the bucket of that 90,000.
How big of a drop are we
Well,
talking?
Doug's a real good bargain hunter as far as getting frames and things at half price, but I would think we could probably do all these pictures for in the range of maybe $2,000. Wouldn't necessarily all get done next year. It might get it done in phases where it gets completed in 2025.
That's a pretty good bargain, so I guess I
don't know, I look at what we've just gone through and how we're wrangling with
Yeah.
a 30% increase on health costs. I mean, every penny that we have in our budget, it comes at a price.
And I would say,
And I think, what is our essential functions? And And, you know, it doesn't change that. And at the same time, you know, $2,000 isn't that much money.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could probably do a crowdfunding or try to get private donors to cover that cost too.
Right. Well,
I look at,
first of all, that 2,000 would probably be spread over 2 years. I don't think we'd get it all done
Would
in
be
1 year.
1,000,
Pardon?
would be 1,000 a year.
1,000 a year. It'd be 1,000 a year for 2,000 because, you know, it takes time to do this and Doug has other things going on. But my thought on that, Commissioner Heine, was that if it would go over that, we could certainly probably try to do some fundraising. But I'm here tonight for 2 reasons: to get your approval to do it, period, and then possibly to get you to start the funding process and commit. If not 2,000, commit 1,000, and we'll see what we can go with from there.
Who's going to decide on what pictures will be used?
Good question. I talked to Crystal, who's our museum director. Doug was museum director when this was done 20 years ago, and he took the photos from the museum archives. I sent this list to Crystal, and I said, do you have some or some of these photos available that we could use to create the larger prints? And she said, yes. She said, we have all of these. If you'd like to come out in December and look through the ones we have. And I thought, you know, with your approval, with your blessing for the project, Doug and I would be doing that. Talked to our head maintenance person, Jeff, and he said he would be perfectly willing if, again, this is all presumptive, that you would approve the project. He'd be glad to drill the screws into the grout that we would hang the pictures from. So bottom line is we need your blessing to do it, and if possible, you know, maybe at least $1,000 to get us started on the project cost, because we have to, there's a cost for taking those prints and making them larger, and then there's a cost for the framing. And Doug's donating a lot of the labor, pretty much all of it free, but there's still those costs.
I see there isn't anything on this list with concerning Jack McCall.
No, I thought about it, but I left that one off. We can obviously add many more items to this. This is a lot of wonderful historic buildings in the community. These are some that I thought maybe were ahead of some of the others, but we're certainly open to suggestions on anything you'd want to add. I don't know if I'd vote for the McCall one. All we could think of, we have the sign, but we don't really have any kind of a physical.
You don't have the rope.
Don't have the rope. It's around his neck apparently in the coffin, last I heard. When they dug up the graves and they moved them north, they opened his coffin and the rope was still around his neck. But the neat thing about the buildings on this list are they're all actually still standing, all in quite good shape, and all actually still being used. So it's kind of neat. Now, we don't want pictures of them in their current state. You know, we don't want a color picture of how they look today. We want a picture basically how they looked around the time shortly after they were built. We want to keep the black and white theme going. And Doug, anything you'd like to add?
He does pretty good. There's not much I can add. I wanted to explain one little thing, though. When we first met, I told him things are a little different than 20 years ago. Now I'm working 6 days a week, which I shouldn't be, but anyway, I have a couple other projects going. And that's when it came up, though, we decided, unlike 20 years ago, that was all done at once. This lends itself more to from here to there, and it would only involve 2 or 3 pictures at any one site. That's much more manageable, but that's why it would drag out a little longer.
Are you going to standardize frames?
Well, those are not standard. There's a couple different sizes there. Is that what you mean, the wood part?
Size
Yeah.
and
The size is the only big issue. I remember on that project, and if you'll recall out there, the bridge is right in the center, and it's a vertical. I laid everything out on the floor, is what I did with that group. And then we had a picture taken, and that's how we were able to put it up there. So we were getting kind of where we wanted. But that remains to be done. But again, it'll be a little different with these locations. But a decision has to be made. What's going to be the big one, like the bridge, and what's the smaller one? See, the smallest one out there is about 11 by 14, I think. and the big one's that 3-footer. That's what we'll have to do besides deciding on which pictures to go with. And that'll be a lot easier to do than this was, okay? But anyway, I'm pretty excited about it myself. We need the extra time.
Is this photo the photo of the post office? Is this old or new?
That's old. That's probably not too long after it was built.
That's a great photo there, just absolutely,
That'd be perfect.
yeah.
I guess, you know, Yankton County, we're in charge of our history. And, you know, as the wise people say, those who don't acknowledge your history are doomed to repeat it.
Right.
This is probably one of the most cost-effective projects I've ever seen come through the commission. We don't bat an eye at, you know, some of these bills that are coming in at big dollars. So I guess I would make a motion to approve $1,000 a year for 2 years for a total of $2,000 for
Second.
the government center photo
I have a
display.
motion by Dan, a second by Wanda.
And I
Further
appreciate you guys willing to
I'm gonna
take
be
something like
honest,
this on.
Thank you.
I have a hard time spending money on photos in the hall. I think the photos idea is a great idea. I think this is something that's more suited towards private funding, and I'm sure you could find lots of people to fund it privately. And I just feel like, yeah, if you could put the project together, I think we'd have no problem having more of these photos in the hall here. But when we're dealing with budgets that we, you know, and talking about costs, it's like, you know, we can't, even the small things, take a little nick in the budget, and we have to justify everything we spend to our
Sure.
voters.
Well, I respect your
So-
opinion. Call the question.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
1 nay, 4 ayes. Motion carries. Thank you,
Congratulations,
gentlemen.
guys. Look forward to some updates with these pictures.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We're looking at probably maybe like, over the course of 2 years, 4 displays of 4 pictures in different spots as opposed to another big, large one. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thank you, Doug.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda,
Do you want this?
approval of gravel bids. Mike Solachik.
Hello. A few weeks back, we advertised for gravel on the east side of the county, and we had one bid. Terry Schrum was our bidder. We do have gravel there right now, which our pile's almost gone. Bid come back at $7 a ton, and
What is that in comparison to prior?
anymore nowadays, anywhere from $7.50 to.
So
Well,
it's
I think it's
within
pretty fair.
range?
This is
Pretty good.
This is on the low end.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the gravel bid.
Second.
I have a motion by Dan, second by John, to approve the gravel bid. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Question.
Yep.
I had a person out in the country on the edge of town that asked about jake breaking. Are there signs that you can put up saying no jake breaking?
Yeah, but there needs to be an ordinance passed on that.
Okay,
Would this be on Highway 314?
that was what it was on.
No.
Okay,
It's been inquired. It's South Dakota Highway.
Rob, would we need a resolution or an actual ordinance for that? What would you recommend for jake breaking? Ordinance?
Well, to make it enforceable, it'd have to be.
Sure.
Anything else?
So the state has, on Highway 50 coming into town, the state has evidently an ordinance or whatever they do to.
A law.
A law. So can we
A 314
piggyback off of that state law for 314 coming into town?
314 is a state highway, so really, I mean, to your point.
But Are you talking Highway 81?
Highway 50 also.
Oh, 50? Okay.
It's a good idea.
Is your microphone on, Mr. Clemish?
Yes?
Not you, the other one.
There we go. Because you're saying piggyback off them as in, because they already have it, and then enforce what they already have on a different road, though?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
I would think we would have to have our own for our specific road and where our area is.
You can't just say no jake breaking throughout all of Yankton County?
Oh, you mean eliminate it?
Well, then I think we'd have to have an ordinance if
the-
we're gonna go countywide, but I'm just saying on,
Who's go-
if we
who's-
put a sign up on 350 and I'm sorry, Highway 50 and 314, no brakes allowed on 314, go in this direction, no jake brakes allowed.
But isn't it allowed through the state, though?
Yeah.
Who's gonna enforce it?
State.
Who,
I think we have to do our own.
Just like a speed limit on a gravel road, who's gonna enforce it?
Nobody.
I understand that.
We're passing a law that you aren't gonna enforce it. Why do it?
well, I think a sign would deter 99% of the people, you know? I mean, just like a speed limit sign is, you know, the people who are gonna obey it, and the people who don't. I get your point though, Mr. Chairman. So.
So do you happen to have any extra signs laying around?
I don't believe Yankton County has a jake brake,
Mike,
a road with a jake brake sign on it.
is there somebody at the state we could, you know, reach out to and discuss if they already have it on a state highway, ask them,
Greg Rochato would be.
what the
would be
process,
exactly, Greg
what the
would be the one to
process
talk
is
to.
and say, hey, you know, some citizens are having a complaint on Highway 314, that's a state highway. Is that something you'd wanna look
I
into?
believe this guy is, because when he talked to me, he already talked to the state.
Okay, okay. Well, there's your answer. Because to what Rob said, I mean, we can't put up signs on a state highway
Right.
anyway, even if we wanted to. So there's really nothing we can do,
All right.
so.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Library.
Next item on the agenda is the library agreement. Dana Schmidt. Hi, Dana.
Hello. Thank you. Sure.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here tonight. I did have the agreement for the provision of library services in your packet, if you guys had a chance to look at that. Not a lot changed with the agreement. The price will still be $20 a year per household for county cards. And we also have the option to break that down. If someone wants to pay for 6 months for $10 or 3 months for $5, they're able to do that. Sometimes we have people that want to utilize the library more in the winter when it's cold outside, and so they just do the 3-month card, things like that. So I don't know if you guys have any specific questions about that, but I do have a couple things I wanted to share with you, just general updates about the library if you didn't have any questions about the agreement.
I have a question about the agreement. The county basically donates $20,000 to the city of Yankton to provide library service for all Yankton County residents. From January 1, 2024 until December 31st, 2024, the city of Yankton will bill Yankton County semi-annually, April and October. See County Commission minutes. Excuse me. Next paragraph. Additionally, every household must pay an annual $20 out-of-pocket charge directly to the library upon issuance or renewal for a non-resident Yankton County card, and in parentheses, for individuals living outside the corporate city limits of the city of Yankton, but within Yankton County. Library cards may also be purchased $3, 3-month membership 5, 6-month membership 10, non-residents outside of Yankton County cards are issued at $40 per household per year. If Yankton County is donating $20,000 to the city of Yankton to provide library services for all Yankton County residents, why do the Yankton County residents still have to pay $20 for a fee?
So the library provides lots of services, whether someone has a card or not. And so so people outside of Yankton County are paying $40 for a card for the service. So what we're saying is that the county's basically paying, for the number of cards we have, you guys are paying half of their fee for their card. So it just helps balance out the county, the people that have library cards are paying a fee, and you guys are paying a fee to help balance that out, help fund the library and all the programs.
City
we're doing.
residents don't pay any fee for a library card, is that correct?
Correct.
And the city funds the library, and I understand all of that. I guess I don't understand why a Yankton County citizen has to pay an extra $20 to utilize the library if in the paragraph previous to that in our agreement states that Yankton County pays $20,000 to the city so that the Yankton County citizens don't have to pay an annual fee.
Well, and there's a lot of services that we provide for county
You know
people
what,
that
I
don't
understand-
have cards.
I understand that you provide a lot of services. You should provide the same services for the citizens of Yankton.
And the city pays for 99% of our budget, and so that's, I mean, it's balancing that way a little bit too, that it's,
And I see.
So if the county would donate 25,000 instead of 20, then you wouldn't charge the fee of $20 annual fee
I
for the
mean,
card?
yeah, I guess if the city, or if the county is willing to contribute more to the budget, then we can have those discussions about lowering the fee for the individual users.
One thing I think is missed, and I know I've brought this up with Dana before when I was on the library board, is the residents outside of the city limits. They spend a lot of sales tax revenue, which is the main source for the city, and I just don't think that's taken into consideration.
Correct, and I agree.
And, you know, the agreement is what it is, but I see both sides.
How many actual out-of-town, within the county residents actually purchase a library card?
So for 2023, we currently have 883 households.
Total?
Total.
But how many of those are out in the county? Do you have that?
Though we have 883 people that are county cards, and I think outside of the county, I think we have like 70 or 80 households.
Okay.
And I understand, I get what you mean
Yeah,
about
yeah.
sales tax, and that's just kind of the pattern that's used by a lot of libraries. It goes by the main funding.
Sure.
So Dana, and we've talked about this before, and I think this is right, that right now the county card holders account for about 16% of your card holders.
Right.
And our contribution to the library is 2% of their budget.
And if you think about it, I'm sure some of you have spent money in Sioux Falls, sales tax, but you don't necessarily get a library card from Sioux Falls because you've spent sales tax there. I mean, it's just there has to be some kind of line, I guess, for that.
I move to approve the library agreement.
I second.
I have a motion by Juan, a second by Ryan to approve the library agreement. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same?
Aye.
You're supposed to say nay.
1 aye, 4-1.
Nay.
Thank you, Dana. Good to see
Thank you, guys, and thank you for your contribution also. I did give you guys a newsletter. If you want to look through there, there's a lot of good information about what the library's doing.
Thank you,
as
and I
well.
still do appreciate everything you do for
Thank you.
citizens.
Thank you.
Gary, Bill, you're on deck. Grant rezone, second reading.
As Commissioner said, this is the second reading of the Brant rezone. Applicant is requesting to rezone a parcel that is dual zoned rural transitional district and moderate density residential district to moderate density residential district per Article 18, Section 1809, and Article 20, Section 2003. Said property is legally described as the west 538.5 feet of the south 370.28 feet of the north 489.28 feet, lying adjacent to Planks Addition and lots 15, 16, and 17, and Planks Addition is platted in Book S7, page 77B, all in Section 4, Township 93 North, Range 56 west of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota. E911 address is 2605 Deer Boulevard, Yankton, South Dakota.
I move approval.
Mr.
Second.
Chair, let's open it up for public comment first.
Hearing.
Anybody want to have public comment? Hearing none. All those in favor of the plat, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
I believe
The
it was a
Diaz,
rezone.
or rezone, yeah. I'm sorry.
No, you,
All right, we have a plat for Diaz. Plat of Tract A and Tract B in Lot 1, Block 1 of Parcel 1 addition in the southwest quarter of the northeast quarter of Section 14, Township 93 North, Range 56 west of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota. This is actually in the ETJ, and they've already approved it. It's kind of a formality for us.
move approval.
Second.
Have a motion approved by Dan, second by Ryan. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next one is Canopo. plat.
Cobley.
Coble?
Cobley. A replat of lots 1, 2, and 3 of Block 3 of Beaver Beach Park in the northwest quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 27, Township 95 North, Range 56 west of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota, to be hereafter known as CMP First Edition in the northwest quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 27, Township 95 North, Range 56 west of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota, and a replat of lots 4, 5, and 6 of Block 3 of Beaver Beach Park in the northwest quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 27, Township 95 North, Range 56 west of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota, to be hereafter known as CMP Second Edition in the northwest quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 27, Township 95 North, Range 56 west of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota.
And Bill, they're just combining some lots, which
Yep, they
is a
own-
good thing because those
Yeah.
lots are tiny.
Those were
They're-
all non-conforming
Yeah.
lots. There were 6 of them. They combined 3 of them to make a conforming lot
That's a
and
good-
3 other ones to make a conforming lot.
It's a
So it
good,
really cleans up a
good
section
move.
of
Move
that.
to approve.
Second.
Motion by Wanda, second by John. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Spady plat.
Plat of Lot 15A, Tones Edition, in the south half of the east half of the west half of the northwest quarter of Section 15, Township 93 North, Range 56 west of the 5th Principal Meridian, Yankton County, South Dakota. He basically owned 2 adjoining lots and combined them into one, so it fits his plans a little better. So he doesn't have to have that setback running through the middle.
What's he planning to do with that out there?
I
We
think
don't know.
Storage
Storage
units, I'm
facility.
guessing. It looks like from the materials that are laying there.
He has a building permit, but he had to do it for part of it because of that center line. Once this is approved, it'll erase that and he'll
Okay.
go straight.
He'll have
across.
lots of them,
We need more.
apparently
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
I have a motion to approve the plat.
Move approval.
Motion by Dan,
I mean, we pretty much don't have, I mean, if it meets the criteria, this is a ministerial task. I mean,
do I have a
can't
second?
really.
Second.
Second by Wanda.
I don't think we have a
Discussion.
choice.
For discussion, is this lakeside commercial or commercial?
Commercial.
Okay, it's commercial.
It's one of the few lots out there
Alright.
that is straight commercial.
Got it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the FLAP grant resolution.
Mr. Chair, can I invite up Jeff Graylobe from
No.
Clay County?
Sure.
Come on up, Jeff. I gotta say, yeah.
No, you're fine.
I gotta really hand it to our fellow commissioner, Mr. Graylobe from Clay County. He really took a leadership role on this, and I'll just hand it over to you, if you'd like.
First off, thank you guys very much for welcoming me up here to one of your meetings. When Dan asked me if I'd be willing to come up, I thought that sounds really neat to go see how another commission does their stuff. So thank you very much. I've met a lot of you at district meetings, and it's been fun working with you so far. So meetings run long enough without me yabbering. Flap grant. Basically, earlier this year, your commission provided a resolution of support for a raise grant application with the DOT. That was whipped together in about a week and a half. In that week and a half, we managed to get 21 letters of support. We kind of aimed, I think, inappropriately high with the dollar amount, but part of that was just coming out of the rushed process. So at that time, we were asking for $1.3 million out of a huge pool of money. This time, we didn't get that. So, however, we did have an opportunity to do a debrief with the DOT. We took them up on that, and they said it was a great application. They were really impressed. It was our first time applying. The people we were talking to weren't familiar with this region. And when they were looking through the application, they were really impressed by what we have here already.
Except the dollar amount.
What's that?
Except the dollar.
Actually, unfortunately, we didn't get to the threshold where they would have reviewed the dollar amount. So ours just didn't quite, they were really specific. They wanted to see public input sessions. They had several things where they were like, we want to make sure that if you have this in an application, it's going to really get you that, we were like very good or something like that, and you've got to be superb.
Excellent.
Or, yeah. But that was really helpful. And based on all the support we had the first time around, we were watching for other opportunities, and when this opportunity came across the radar, we have been taking a bit longer to work through this. So I think it's a stronger application. It's different. So the raise grant application was for a network of trails connecting our counties and connecting population centers and recreation opportunities in the two counties was kind of the high level idea there. This app is specifically focused on federal lands. So this is improving and increasing access to federal lands. So what that means around here, specifically in terms of this grant, is lands with a federal designation. So that means the Missouri National Recreation River. That means there's a piece of Lewis and Clark Trail on Spirit Mound. The part of the 4,900 mile national trail is there. There are also federally owned properties along the river, but this, because of that MNRR designation, it's actually the whole waterway here in our two counties. So based on reworking that application, all we're really doing is saying, rather than these are nodes we want connected, this is a resource we want better access to. And from Clay County's point of view, part of that is looking at things like the report that came out that there's $8.1 million of economic activity generated by the MNRR, and my knowledge that most of that is landing over here in Yankton County. So part of this is Clay County, honestly, wanting to try to get a little bit of this. We want to grow the pie, and then we want a bigger piece of it. I was appointed to the Clay County Park Board when I joined the Clay County Commission. It's been a wonderful experience. Our Clay County Park has done a lot of modernization in the last couple of years, and a part of that is getting on the state reservation system. This year, we just got the annual numbers. Our camping reservations are up 91% over the last year. Our income is, I don't have the number off the top of my head, so I don't want to say wrong, but it reflects that. Almost doubled camping reservations. And that comes from getting tapped into that state system, and then a lot of that is overflow. When your campsites here are full at Lewis and Clark Lake, people go, where's the next nearest place on the river? And they end up coming down and taking reservations there. So we hear a lot of people asking about additional access points to the river. There's a lot of an impression that you kind of got to know the right people in order to find a place where you can go put your kayak in. There's a lot of interest in more bike trails, more hiking trails. Bike ones are really front of mind for me, especially from a safety point of view. I was almost late to this meeting because I was at a memorial service for a friend who was hit by a car while bicycling and died at 68. His retirement party would have been in about a month, and instead we just had his funeral. So I think that what this would do is we're applying for $250,000 The idea is we would hire a local engineering firm. We had the option to go in with somebody from, you know, the office that handles this grant is in Colorado. They could do the work, but we wanted somebody local. We want somebody that's going to be able to talk the reality on the ground here with the people that are on the ground here. I've lived in this area almost all my life. I understand all the reasons why trails might not get built. And so those things came up a lot in our discussions at the Clay County Commission. And really, I think the answer to a lot of those questions about why wouldn't a trail get built are what we're seeking this money to do. And a great thing about this is it is a no match required grant. Another great thing about it is that Clay County has taken the lead on being the signatories on it, the actual people that would do the grant administration. We think it's going to be a stronger long-term project, and I think that the product we want to come out of this would be a many decades-long plan. We would say, these are the areas it's easiest to build stuff out now. These are the areas that make the most sense. These are the areas where we have landowners that are on board and think this is a great idea. These areas are not not as easy to manage. So it'll start giving us that framework where we can then start biting off little chunks of this. It gives us a document, hopefully, that we would be able to use in future grant applications so that we don't have to take all the money out of our property tax base. We can hopefully get more federal funds. These are federal funds. We're trying to get money from a pool that has been allocated to South Dakota. It's going to get used by somebody. So I'm here to ask your commission to submit a letter of or resolution of support for this, and then yeah, hope for the best. So yes, a question.
Wasn't there a group of Missouri River landowners down by the Ponderosa, wherever that is, that were didn't want any more activity on the river because they liked the fact that there was no folks on the river?
Yeah. Good friends of mine. I was just talking to him with River Beers a couple days ago. So yeah, I mean, I think that in my mind, what would come of this would be forums where questions like that could be addressed. An ask that I would have is that we specifically have meetings that are invite only to landowners. You know, that so often is the hurdle that people don't recognize as being so important. So if we've got a consultant and that consultant sends out a letter to every person that owns a property on the river and says, please come in, please give us concerns like that. Please say, you know, we like the way things are right down by the Ponderosa. Please don't go putting another access point for the public near our boat launches and having all kinds of people all there all day. But
yeah, because as I recall, they were complaining that too many people were using the boat launch, and then you had to wait a half an hour to get your boat or kayak in the river, out of the river, which seems to me to be, having launched a boat or two here in Yankton, that's not as horrible as it sounds.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that comment, and yep.
I thank you for the information. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
I move to approve the resolution.
Ryan?
Second.
Wanda, second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thanks, Jeff.
Opposed, the same, motion carries. And thank your commission for taking the lead on this and involving us.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, Chairman Kettering.
We need to work together on lots of things.
Honestly, one thing that excites me about this was building a relationship with some of your commission. Working together on this project just gives me a lot of hope for working together on lots more in the future. I think it's good for cost savings, good for good long-term planning. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Drive
Jeff.
safe.
Next item on the agenda is ordinance priorities and possible task force discussion. We have our solar energy program basically rewritten and in the process of getting into final approval. And we were also looking forward to examining what we want to do in the same area with wind and pipeline.
I don't think we were any of us were looking forward to it.
Oh, well.
It's coming, though.
Gary Vetter sent out an email this week saying that somebody had contacted them concerning wind energy system in the northern part of Yankton County, probably to start in 2024. So,
And Mr. Chair, that was the Orion Group, and I know we had discussed this a couple years ago, is the new PUC regulations are actually more stringent than our wind tower ordinance, so it definitely needs an update, yeah, exactly. You know, cell towers are another one we talked about and never really did as well. So I think those two would probably go hand in hand, cell tower and wind tower. They're pretty similar in a lot of ways, you know.
well, I had mentioned at the last meeting, I think that the task force did an exceptionally good job on the solar project, and I suggested that we use that method to approach wind and pipelines. What do you all think?
My thought is, and Lauren Nelson I watched the zoning meeting, and Lauren Nelson brought up a good point, that the wind tower, I know it's coming. However, we have an ordinance in place. I haven't really gone through it to see if it's as well or written or whatever, but she showed concerns, and I guess I would have some concerns also, that pipelines are probably, we have nothing. And the task force, I think, would be a good place to start with the pipeline.
Yes.
The wind towers, yes, we have an ordinance. I think they've already got to have a CUP that's got to go through the planning commission now.
Yeah.
So,
You bring up a really great point, John. My only concern that I've heard when I was on the SDACC meeting Monday, there's no less than 8 pipeline bills already right now. Which, do we need something? Yes, but I hate to put all kinds of work together and then in February it's no good. That's my only concern. What's gonna pass through,
So you're
what's not
suggesting
gonna.
we wait till April or May?
Well, what I'm saying is that, you know, we would put something together and without really any guardrails, and I hate to put in all that effort and we'll have to redo it right away. With at least 8 bills and session doesn't even start for another month, there's gonna be a lot more.
Okay,
I think it should be up there, but maybe we start, like she said, in February.
Well, if you,
I
with
said
that-
April or May.
Well, yeah,
with that in mind, I guess my thoughts are we should be going on both of them.
yeah.
We've had 3 volunteers from the Planning and Zoning Commission to do it. What composition would you like to see on it? On the other task force, we had 2 county commissioners.
I would say maybe we need to rotate it instead of having the same people all the time. You get a different perspective. We have in the past opened it up to, you know, maybe we won't get anybody from the public, but we could at least ask to.
I think we had two county commissioners, we had 3 zoning members. I think they
and
should
one
be
person from
restricted
the public
in one public.
for the
I think we should go 2, 2, and 2.
So, I think 2 county commissioners should be on it. And
Yeah,
that
that's
way
fine.
we have a good input from the county commission. And I like having 3
I don't.
zoning, planning
I don't
commissioners on
like
there,
3
too.
on that. I think it should
Why?
be 2, 2, and 2. I just think that the planning board obviously gets the last say, so they have 7.
It'll go to the planning commission
Yes.
anyway. This is an opportunity to get
This
people
is-
that we might not have any input otherwise, because it's, to John's point, it's gonna go to the task force, then go to the planning commission, then
Right.
go to us. And if the task force is full of planning commissioners already, then
Well-
the public really doesn't get an
We
opportunity.
had, if you
Well, a
have
lot
the
of
solar,
pub-
for
if
the
you have
solar
3
task
planning
force, we had
members-
quite a bit of public participation.
Sure. That's
And-
good. That's
and we
what we
had,
want.
we had a lot
Yeah.
of public participation, and we had a lot of public speaking in it, and so, I'm not too concerned about whether we have, you know,
Planning.
two, or any type of really strict measure. I think we do need to have two commissioners on there just so that we can make sure that we have, our input as a whole here.
The
really
reason for
directed
that
at-
was we don't want to be bouncing it back and forth.
Exactly.
We want to
wanted
get the damn thing
We wanted to
done.
get to a success faster.
Yeah.
And so I think if we stick to this plan of, yes, planning and zoning with, two commissioners being directive, and we set the meetings so that the public, into the times where the public can really attend, we will have good public, attendance.
If we, send out, a request for participation, and then we don't get a good turnout, we could always add the planning commission
Then
in
what do we
later.
do? Just
No, then we could put
forge
the
on without
planning-
them?
Planning commission in,
Yep.
but
I think
Yeah.
we've got time to decide that. Nothing's gonna happen with the task force before the first of the year.
yeah,
And I think we should push to get.
We can send
Get
a
that
letter
going.
out, though, for those people
Right,
interested.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So why don't you have Patty, get the ad in the paper, wherever we do it, that we're looking for people to serve on it.
Who are interested?
are we're gonna do one at a time? I think that would be best.
Solar versus,
Yeah,
Yeah,
look,
I
solar's
think-
done, right?
solar first and
So,
not,
so probably wind first.
Solar's already been sent.
oh, I
to
mean,
the-
I'm sorry, wind,
So.
but
yeah.
not pipeline until after session?
And what is your guys' thought? I hate to put in all kinds of work and then there's all kinds of changes and you have to redo everything.
I think you can get
Yeah.
the work started.
Okay.
Even if you have the task force working for a whole month, you're still gonna be a month or two away before you even have an ordinance. And so to just get that process going, even if there's bills going on in Pier, those will get settled out by March. By that time, we might actually be at a point where we kind of have all the information forward to start writing an ordinance.
Yeah, and I think you and I are thinking the same on that, but wind's been around so
Yeah.
much longer.
And we
that-
already have an
that's-
ordinance.
That's already
So
it.
that's
So
I think
a
that
few
just has to
tweaks,
be tweaked.
and by
That's
the
more
time
of an
that's done,
update.
move right into the other one.
And I almost question if, because we have an ordinance and we do have a lot there with wind and we just really need to update it. Like, I don't know, is a task force as essential for that? Or do we just need to make sure the planning commission directs some energies towards that?
Oh,
The
That's why
second
I'm
one.
thinking that we need to work on the pipeline. And
Is it all pipelines or just CO2 pipelines?
I don't think you can make a distinction. It has to be
But-
something that's uniform for
Yeah.
all pipelines.
And that is a huge distinction because you got
There won't
gas
be any-
pipelines, oil
there
pipelines,
won't be
manure
any-
pipelines.
There won't be any pipelines coming through
Well.
in the next 6 months. So we got time to do them both.
Yeah.
Let's get them done. If you want to volunteer to be on the task force, please email me and we'll get our set up and I'll select our visit with the planning and zoning people. And we're going to advertise for interested people in the public.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay?
Okay. Do
We'll
you need a
start-
motion on that?
Start in January. So you can make one if you want.
Well, no, or if that's just what we're
I don't
gonna
think-
do.
I
I
don't
That's
don't
think
think
fine.
so.
we need a motion on that.
Okay.
Minutes.
I've got 2 more items that for general discussion that I'll put in. I can put them in at the end. Ordinance, okay, November 7th minutes.
I would note that on page 6 of those minutes, it says that a motion was made by me and seconded by Commissioner Heine to approve the following applications for renewal of retail on-sale liquor licenses. And I believe it incorrectly includes the Hebda Family Produce, doing business as Hebda Family Produce, since Mr. Hebda sold his license last year to, I believe, Fire and Ice. So that needs to be corrected at some point. But other than that, I don't have an issue with the minutes.
Any
And
other,
that's- And that's number action 23373C.
Yeah, and it is listed as fire and ice.
but not in the minutes.
No, I know, I just looked that up quick.
Anything else about the minutes?
With that correction, I would move the exception or the adoption of the November 7, 2023 minutes.
Motion by Wanda,
Second.
second by Ryan. Discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Claims.
I'd move to,
One question on the claims, it was for, I assume for Graham Tire, that was for the tires for that vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. That was,
I have an inquiry that I'd like to make before the payment of the claim of blue light investigations for $8,800.
what page are you on, Wanda?
I'm
Page
trying to
4.
find it again.
It's under
Page
Four, I-
four.
Judge, under jury or something, legal.
Court.
Page,
four.
page 4, it's right under resolute law.
Okay, yep.
It's claim number 0104389 for court professional services of $8,877.20. I would like to ask the presiding judge some questions with regard to that claim before that claim is approved or paid.
I'm fine with that, but I mean, we pretty much have to pay whatever the judge orders anyway, right? But
Well,
I'm-
after I talk to the judge,
Okay.
I guess we'll see what that answer is.
I am fine, Wanda, if that's what you want to do. Does seem like a lot of money.
Because that claim relates to the law firm claim of Resolute Law Firm, PC, for professional services of $9,523.32. And they go hand in hand. And
Pretty good paycheck.
I would think.
And what was the case about?
It was the gentleman that shot the girlfriend in the back of the head while he was holding their toddler baby. And then he fled South Dakota to Nebraska where they caught him and he confessed. So I'm curious what we need $8,872 for on a confession. But that's just me.
Okay,
And I would like to think that I could talk to the judge in the next week, so that particular check could be on next commission meeting's agenda.
I have a motion to that effect from Wanda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Ryan. Discussion?
So we're just gonna basically hold that check out
We're
till
not gonna
next
pay it.
meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm not saying we're not paying it, I want to
Not
know
paying it
why
now.
we're paying it.
Yep. Just not this one.
Under this order. Treasurers, pool cash.
Aye.
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 Then you have a second set of claims, which I'm abstaining.
Motion carries. Then the second claims.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by John. Discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 One
Motion
abstention.
carries. Auditors,
I
treasurer's report and pool cash report.
Move approval of the reports.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Wanda. Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, two items that I wanted to bring up. One was,
A public comment.
I'm not there yet.
That's before commissioner updates.
I'm not giving an update. This is a discussion of a topic.
Okay.
I think you all got a email from the South Dakota Department of Health concerning our ability to
I never got that.
maintain a supply of drugs that would help somebody that's overdosed on opium.
Mr. Chair, I never got any of that.
You didn't-
Narcan, I can
never-
go
I
make a
never got
copy
it.
of this for everybody. Basically, what it says, the Reader's Digest version is, they will provide it as long as they're is training for staff to use it.
Are we looking at taking action on this tonight?
Are we, what?
Are we taking action on this?
No,
Okay.
we can't. I
Just
We're
bringing
just
it up
talking
for
about it.
discussion.
Okay. Yeah, I'd appreciate if I could get a copy, because I guess I never got that emailed to me. Not important like
Yeah.
you got. Did
Actually,
you get
Dan,
it?
I didn't get that email either, so.
They must have just sent it to the chair and vice chair, so.
Okay, well,
Sorry, well, you continue though, on what it's
Continue
looking
your
at.
discussion.
that's it.
Well, I
They're
guess,
gonna have these drugs, so if you overdose on the opium, they can administer it to you.
No, fentanyl, an
would
opioid.
we have to,
Who's
But
gonna have that?
I did
It says,
come,
it says opiate
after,
overdose.
after I got the email, I did come over here to the government center and inquire who wanted to be a hand raiser and be trained in the administration of the Narcan. I talked to Sheriff Cressy, and he indicated that he has trained people in that in the past. And I thought it might be wise to have one volunteer on each floor
do we,
in case somebody falls down out in the common area. And,
Well, you gotta do the police and the,
well, you either
Sheriff
got to
and
do
the-
one of two things. Administer Narcan, call 911, or just let them go.
is that how you spell, pronounce that, Nikon?
Narcan is what it's called.
is the,
Nalozxone.
is the nurse's office downstairs, since they're state employees? I assume they're all trained on this already?
They aren't going to be there, are they?
Well,
From what they
probably
said
not.
last time?
So,
Twice a week
I
now,
gue-
they
I guess what, my only concern is,
It's
you know, what-
naloxone.
what liability would we have
Yeah.
of, you know, I think this is just another example of the state kind of pushing this down on us, and it seems like a good idea, but if we become, you know, the Narcan station where people who are overdosing come to, do we want that responsibility? I mean, maybe a better location would be the ambulance building, where everybody there is trained, I guess.
Well,
Well,
as I understand the problem, when you have fentanyl or opioid overdose, it suppresses your respiration to the point that you stop breathing. So basically, you have between 3 and 4 minutes, as I understand, before your brain starts to die. So they fall over out here in the common area. We wait for the 911 people to get here? We
Let's,
just watch them die?
let's,
I mean, I'm okay with whatever you all decide.
let's all go home and read this and come back and have it as agenda item next week, next meeting.
Okay.
And then the last item that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention is that we have performance reviews that need to be completed on all department heads, and department heads should be doing performance reviews on all their team members. And that should be done, if we can, by the end of the year. I don't think there's much discussion to that. It's what we're supposed to be doing.
Correct.
Okay.
You got a lot of.
Those were the only items that I had for council discussion. Public comment. Hearing none. Commissioner updates.
I have one.
Good.
I have been doing some conversations with different folks with regard to the fact that we have too many juveniles in detention in Minnehaha County at a rate of $458 a day, trying to find a home for the 3 family members, an alternative home, rather, for the 3 family members that are being held up there, as well as some communications with regard to the potential build-out of the, what I would like to call a juvenile detention center in the basement of the safety center. And I did have one conversation with a commissioner from Clay County and one from Bonham County who indicated they might be receptive to, if we build it, they will come. They will send their juveniles potentially to us versus Sioux Falls. So, other than the fact that I cannot make parents be better parents and children be better children, I am trying to resolve the interim
Well,
issue.
was it 20 or 30,000 this month we paid?
20.
20.
20.
A little over 20.
More next month.
So,
Yeah.
so even talking to Sheriff Chrissy, you know, I would not be opposed to another task force set up to see what we could actually do. Because I think there's a lot of potential there also, and possibly a new facility.
Well, I don't know if we want a new facility, but we
I
have
understand.
facility space now that we could build out.
I understand that, but a task force to look at the whole situation
And
and move forward.
And I do have the rules, I guess,
Mm.
for what you'd need to do a build out. So I've got those. I just haven't had the opportunity to study them at depth yet.
I'm wondering if, some sort of feasibility study.
Yes.
To your point, because there's gotta be a break-even point where.
Oh, yeah.
We have to have this many kids, or it's cheaper to run them to Sioux Falls. And I don't know what
Well,
that
at
is, but-
$20,000 a month.
Well, but that's, I get what you're saying, but that's this month and that's an elastic number. Maybe the numbers, if we have 8 kids in there, year-round, it's cheaper for us, but 6 kids, it's not. I don't know that number, but the
You're
study
right,
would
Dan,
prove
you're
that.
right. That's,
Because we can't hire
but
staff
if we,
and
if
then
we
not
can
have
do it
kids
at
and let them go.
$300
Yeah.
a month, I bet there's a lot of other counties that
Yes.
wouldn't send theirs to
Yeah,
Sioux
yeah,
Falls.
You mean a day?
Exactly.
A day, yeah.
Yeah.
They'd love us to do it, $300 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, even 400's a bargain, so, but, yeah, that's a very good idea.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Mr. Heine?
Let's put that on the future agenda, next month's agenda.
Let's put it on the second one in there because I have people I need to talk to before that's like a week away.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes, I get it. But I want to do it the second time in December, not the first time in December.
Oh, sure.
That's what I'm saying. And Mr. Heine was
Ryan?
poised to talk.
Yeah, well, okay, so my update is more from the discussion that started from the last meeting. And I did go out and I met with Harry. We talked a lot more about what he was looking at doing with our ArcGIS subscriptions and overviewing what we're doing with them right now. Also took a look at some of the things that the city of Sioux Falls does with them and stuff like that. It comes down to, we do have these things, there's a lot of tools out there, and I think we're underutilizing them for what we're paying for them. That's definitely for sure. I don't know if it does not look like it. It's hard to even say though if it's a good idea to jump off of geo permits at this time. So at least at this time, my recommendation is to renew geo permits for 1 year. Not jump into a 3-year yet, but at least for 1 year. And as we look at our system as a whole more, and that is talking about how some of this information that we have in emergency services, planning and zoning, the road department can start to get melded together into becoming something much more transparent that the public hasn't seen before. But it's something more like what you can see, like what Sioux Falls is doing. So.
Okay.
And so it's a project I have started now.
Mm-hmm.
So should we put that on the agenda for January?
It might, yeah, I'll let you know when we
get started.
can talk about, yeah,
Okay.
doing this project. I think we're leading up to, like, as I've stated before, our website needs an update. It needs to be more usable and better transparency there too. So, and I think that all kind of starts to feed into this one major thing of what's our website need to look like. I also need to go out and I want to talk to Mike about how they can utilize this stuff better. They have a subscription that they don't currently use. And I also still need to swing by Bill's office and really kind of gather requirements of what we really need on the system.
John?
Mike and I went to a road conference here 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago in Sioux Falls. And there's a process, it's not necessarily new, but there's a process that we've never looked at before on dust control on county
Cell
roads.
phones are on mute.
And I think that it's something that we should look into, and the gentleman that Mike and I spoke to at the conference, would be available to come down and do a presentation on how it's applied and what it does and how it lasts. My concern always was with dust control is how long does it last? This product that they use, the gentleman says, will, with 2 applications over a 5-year period, will create a surface on a gravel road that is not as good as a chip seal, but
Does it do anything to the rumble
yes.
bars?
Yes, they basically come out, we prepare the surface of the road for them. They come out, they scour the road, they apply their product, and then they also seal the product or put another layer of aggregate over the product and seal it, and that lasts for a year. The next year they'll come out and put another layer, do the same thing again on top of that, and it's basically what he says is he's got a hard surface road. It's not a paved road or not a chip seal road, but something that Mike actually asked after that 3rd year, could we actually chip seal over the top of that? And he said yes. So and the cost is like a third of even a chip seal, and it uses soybean oil, which is a agricultural product
Good for the farmers.
that is it's an agricultural product that would work. So I'd like for December 19th, I'd like for him to come and do a presentation. If we can do something, I'd like to do next spring, I'd like to do a couple miles out in the country
As a test?
as a test. I believe that Kaiser Road and 434 would be a good place to do that on. I mentioned that to him, and this gentleman is familiar with our area. He's from Madison, South Dakota, so I think it's something that we should take a look at.
Sounds great.
And
Sounds interesting.
And I already talked to him about coming down December 19th for a presentation.
I would move that he come down December 19th for a
I'm sure
presentation.
he'll be happy to do that for us.
Do we need a second?
So
No.
we'll need to put that on the agenda for December 19th, that he'll be here. And I'm sure people will probably want to come and join us.
Will you just send Patty
Yeah,
an email
yeah, I
on
would.
that?
Yep. And I've got some literature that I can share with
And we have
with us here.
you
too.
can't hand raise, it's not public.
At the regular, is that what
Yes.
regular commission meeting?
Yes. You're invited, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good presentation.
Yep, so,
Good deal.
that's all I got. I think that's kind of exciting news.
Dan, any?
I just, real quick, lots of bills are already being drafted. Draft 152 to increase the alcohol tax that the county gets from 25 to 50%. Bill for veteran service officers to allow counties to collect a TIF fee, just a lot of different ones. I guess the important thing is, we reach out to our legislators and tell them the challenges that the counties are facing. Pennington County had a pretty good meeting with their legislatures out there. I think around 30 or 40 showed up, and some are really supportive. Quite a number just say the county's got to figure it out for themselves. And so this is probably really the last year before a lot of, Medicare or whatever expansion money hits the state. And so if something's going to happen, it's going to happen this year, and everybody's predicting the counties are going to be in pretty tough shape another year from now, so. Go ahead.
I do have one other thing. I did attend the pre-legislature Cracker Barrel here last week, Thursday, I believe the day was, when here in town. And it was basically a Chamber of Commerce, and the chair of the South Dakota State Chamber of Commerce, David Long, I think, or something is his name. Anyway, there was some interesting stuff that he talked about, and again, I didn't get a whole feel on any of the stuff that where the county's gonna be helped out a lot, other than the liquor
Yeah.
tax sounds like that may be a good positive thing, but other than that, he's, basically, a lot of the legislators are saying counties need to figure it out on their own.
Yeah, there's actually, to John's point, there's actually a number of bills that are being drafted to revert property taxes back to 2020. So this year, we have some bills that are supposed to help counties, but we're also expecting quite a number that are actually gonna hurt us pretty significantly. I can imagine reverting back to pre-COVID property tax valuations. It'd be pretty tough for us, so I'll keep you posted as best I can. Last one, there's this conflict of interest matter for, I believe the Supreme Court's looking at that for the legislators, so.
Yeah, he actually mentioned too, there could be a possibility of 20 to 30 legislators that could be in violation of that conflict of interest law.
Yeah,
Which is gonna be interesting in a state this size, how you're going to find nobody that's related to a legislator that gets any kind of a contract or works for the state.
the state or any county, or any
There
counties in
aren't
there.
that many people that live here. And we don't want any more.
Okay, next item on the agenda is executive session. I entertain a motion to enter into executive
So
session.
moved.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Wanda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you guys for coming.
I was the only one who would trust me, and we basically don't have a second one now, so I don't really know. We would all be put in context. I felt bad for him, because I thought once Sam Township became 2 years in a row, just a huge. And his mind is so fantastic. I love talking to him.
She was like a joker. So we ended up, we didn't have to do anything. We got the 40 people. We ended up approving that. to send out the survey.
I made notes that I gotta reach out to him and ask him about that, because that's down the road, that would be. All right. Thanks so much, you guys. All right, I'll get out of here.
Paper, I'm a radio, I got a voice
Face-
for,
face
I got
for
a
radio.
I got a face for radio and a voice for print. No, I got it. Thanks, Wanda.
It was so funny when Rob's phone went off. It's like, oh
Like,
my
it was
God.
even like a bad word and
I
everything.
know. Oh my God. Leave it to Rob.
I know. Sure.
Oh my God, I felt sorry for Julie.
So did I.
God, John was a.
It's not that they had 2 weeks, so he was getting busy because
Yeah,
it's like they
but
didn't even look at it.
I know, she brought it back. She couldn't even bring them until she could get an
Yeah, they're
estimate
right.
from the,
Right.
from the companies. I mean,
Right.
she can't bring it forward if she doesn't
I
have
know,
the,
and he was like,
the amounts.
it's
And it
just-
was in the first meeting in
I know,
or
it's,
the end
I
of-
know.
October, or was it the first meeting in November?
It was the first
Meeting
meeting in
in
November. Either way,
It
they had
was-
made a motion
Yep.
to approve, to figure it out by this time, and it wasn't, they
Yeah.
had all of the info
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
time.
he was
I
being
was,
hard on him.
yeah.
I hope they don't go over that.
God, I hope not.
It
Jeez.
sounded like, it sounded like they kinda maybe wanna stick with Medica.
I
I
hope
would be
But it's
fine
funny.
with that.
Because someone gets on one thing about, we gotta save money no matter what, and they'll spend money on something else, but I will not go to a fair for anything major.
I know.
I will not, I
I
refuse to.
know.
So,
I know.
I'm having surgery on my shoulder in December. I put it off,
Shoulder surgery?
I should have both of them, but they won't do both at the same time.
Oh my
But I wouldn't
gosh.
even attempt it when it was Vera, because I
Yeah.
didn't want them touching me,
I know, yeah,
so.
yeah. I know, if they switch, there's gonna be a lot of mad employees.
But they're ticking off insurance companies.
Yes,
100%.
But
You're
yes.
lucky Blue
Switch it.
Cross
yes,
even gave us a quote.
yeah,
But Vera didn't want it either
No.
at first.
no,
But, yeah, you gotta give it, I mean, you're kinda giving them a chance to recoup
Right.
yeah,
what they paid out.
Yeah.
But I love,
yeah.
it was so easy, cause they discounted a bunch of stuff. But then when I hit my deductible, it was like,
Boom.
no more
Nothing.
bills,
I know.
just cover it all.
Yeah.
Same here.
No.
So my whole
Yeah.
surgery's gonna be, they covered most of, I had 2 MRIs on both shoulders, $3,500 a piece.
Yeah.
I think I paid around 2,000, and that capped me. Everything
And
else.
yeah.
they're gonna
Me
cover
too,
my
and the
surgery.
best part about it is like
Yeah.
Blue Cross Blue Shield, which was fine, but they like constantly sent out letters in the mail. Like I would always get like, oh, this is a
Yeah.
pre-op. But with Medica, they just send you what you need to know,
Yeah.
and then like, yeah, once
And
your
everything's-
deductibles, nothing, you hear nothing.
And I get notices, emails right away with, or notices that, you know, this has been submitted, or
Yep,
everything's just really quick.
it is,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
smooth, like it's
Yeah.
worth,
Hopefully,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
so.
but
we'll see.
they don't even bother to talk to the employees or even to talk to our department. That,
Nobody's asked me about geo permits. I'm the one, I use it more than everybody else combined in the county. I'm the one that uses it all through the permitting. Nobody's asked me. What do I think of it? It sucks.
yeah,
It does. We're constantly having issues with it. Every time they do an upgrade, it goes back and changes something else, and they have to go back and figure out a fix for that. It's just,
Well,
it's horrible.
That's a whole nother debacle. The thing is
Yeah.
I think this guy has one track mind on what he wants, so he's not gonna ask you because he knows your
Yeah.
intake on it. But he'll,
But everybody else that suggests something or proposes something, they just take their word for it. Why wouldn't should go to the person that uses it
I know.
99% of the time
Yeah,
and ask him how it's working.
yeah, exactly,
Because you know he doesn't want to.
Right,
yeah,
and then, yeah, case in point, same thing with the insurance. Like,
Yeah,
they never
yeah.
asked any of us employees.
no, no,
Joe and Sherry, they railroaded everything they wanted.
they did
They
too,
really screwed
No,
us
I'm
over
glad, I know.
yeah,
when they
yeah.
did that 6-month switch or whatever it was.
Oh, God, yeah,
That was bad.
yep. Oh, God, Kathy.
So, why isn't this
I know,
Velcro?
it's because it's missing its Velcro,
So-
yeah,
That rezone,
yeah,
there's 2 copies. You can have him sign 2, and so you keep 2 copies and I keep 2 copies.
rezone, oh, which one's the rezone?
Get right there.
Oh, I'm sorry, oh, this
So
one.
there's 4
Yeah,
copies, 2
yeah.
of the notice and 2 of the
Okay.
second.
Yep, okay.
Then I'll come down tomorrow morning.
Yeah, give me a few minutes though, okay?
No problem. I don't mind walking down there if you're not ready. I want to get up and walk around once in a
Oh,
while. Because sitting all day is not good for you. You gotta
Yeah,
move,
well, I know,
get your blood flowing.
yeah, yeah,
So that's what I'll do. Then I'll just walk down and see if there's any receipts in our little tray.
oh, okay,
Steal a Reese's peanut butter cup.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, gives you an excuse to get one.
What?
Please take them
Spit
all.
that out again.
It gives you an excuse to get a
Yeah,
reason.
there you go. No, seriously, I'll do that just to walk around, because after a while, your legs get tight. And
oh, God, I know,
your blood
yeah.
circulating.
yeah.
Cheater on the head.
Hey, how come Gary wasn't here tonight?
They're-
New York.
What?
They're flying to New York tomorrow
His
morning,
son lives
really,
there.
really early.
Oh,
And so he left
Okay.
this afternoon so they could drive up
oh,
and figure it out. I guess parking at the airport's an issue because they're building a parking
at,
structure.
at where?
Oh,
Sioux
it's
Falls
Sioux
Airport.
Falls.
Yes, 'cause we were there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so
It's,
he's
yes,
worried about getting there a little early so they can figure out if there's
yeah,
a place to park. But
yeah,
I think they have to leave it. Their flight takes off at 5 a.m.
uh-huh, yeah.
So we wanted to.
Are they staying in that motel that's right next to it? We did too when we came back, 'cause our flight didn't come in till midnight. So you can walk right to that motel from inside.
That's
It was
clever.
awesome.
That is clever.
The
Yeah,
problem I had was someone had a dog in their room,
oh,
big dog, and it barked.
oh, no, yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna have surgery on December 15th, which is
Yeah,
Friday.
right during
So hopefully
Christmas.
by Monday I can come back and be good.
On what?
I should do that unless I'm still popping pills.
I thought that's really a painful surgery, isn't it?
Well, I'm not having it replaced,
Oh, you know, oh,
but
oh,
I've had shoulder surgery before like this, and it's painful, but after 3 days usually.
so what do they have to do?
So I have arthritis, tendonitis, I have a partial tear in my labrum, I have a cyst on my labrum,
Oh,
and I have bicep tendonitis. So they're gonna shave off the end of my collarbone, clean all that out. I think they're gonna repair the tear, remove the cyst, and then depending on how bad my bicep tendonitis is, they may remove where it's connected and change the connection point of the tendon.
oh,
to get
So
some-
have this been an ongoing issue?
I have the same thing on my right shoulder.
oh,
but my left
gee,
shoulder hurts more.
oh,
And they won't let you do them at the same time?
No. I should have done it earlier. If I wasn't worried about, you know, I had my side jobs and hunting and all that stuff, I could have done it probably 1st of November and then maybe snuck it in. But if I would have done that, then I would have been, I couldn't do anything for the rest of the year.
so you'll have to be in a sling, won't you?
Yeah, see, the biggest thing is depending on what they do with that bicep tendon. If they don't do anything with that, it shouldn't be very long at all.
Oh,
But if they have to do that, it's about 4 weeks in a sling.
Maybe Michelle said it's a video.
I don't know.
Did Michelle call you, Cassie?
Yeah.
What did she call, I just saw she called me.
Well, she's like, hey, I seen you've been looking. It was an executive session. And then, she said the microphone's on.
Who's Michelle?
Broken?
Michelle. She just called me, but I didn't realize it because I had,
Is that red microphone, I suppose Dawn's is on?
oh,
Turn the master sound off.
yes it is.
No, I turned it off.
Oh, you did, oh,
If that's on, it should work. There's a microphone up here.
I see that, yeah.
I don't know how to shut that off.
I said, we won't talk now. Oh, so you
Second.
And I have a motion and a second to come back into, general session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carries. We are now, back in,
Regular.
regular session.
My understanding is that we are going to not do anything arising out of executive session. However, we're going to put on the agenda for December 5, 2023, the issue of the WIC office and the WIC clerical situation that has been forced upon us by the state of South Dakota.
Second.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Hearing nothing else?
Oh, I think we wanted to put on the December 5 issues for next meeting, the Narcan,
Yes.
or no, naloxone. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was on there. And we're also going to talk about employee health insurance.
Yeah. And what was the other thing you wanted?
I want so many things. How do
For
we
the
narrow
next
it down?
meeting?
She did, yeah.
That's what it was.
You wanted that on the 19th.
No, I want it on the next
The
time.
second one.
Yeah, the juvenile detention.
Right, got it.
Don wanted it on the first one.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.